Welcome back to Awful Stories. I'm Michael, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe for daily videos. The first post was made in the True Off My Chest subreddit by a deleted user. The post is titled, "My ex-wife predicted my future in painful details and I can't sleep at night because of it. We are legally still married. We are both 45 and have been together for 20 years. She was the love of my life until I met my current girlfriend, and that was when I realized that I had been stagnating for years. My new girlfriend, 30, was happy and exciting. She was wild and drove me crazy. I finally remembered what it felt like to be alive with her, and she understood me. She never complained and never nagged, always positive. When my ex-wife found out, she laughed in my face and told me how disappointing I was. Leaving your wife of 20-something years for a 20-something? How original. I told her it wasn't about her age. She laughed even harder. Let me guess, because she cares about her looks. Because she's so positive and adventurous. Then she said, when reality hits, don't come running back. When she stops doing all those wild things because she knows she doesn't have to anymore. When she realizes she wants more and asks for more. When your answers and actions aren't good enough for her. When she stays in bed scrolling through her phone all weekend because now she has you and doesn't need to pretend to be oh so adventurous anymore. Remember that you haven't traded up. I didn't believe her and she laughed at that too. She said, remember how our story started? The love and respect we had? Look how it ended. How do you think this one, which started by hurting the people closest to you, will end? That was 9 months ago. Now I haven't spoken with my girlfriend for 2 days. She moved in with me 3 months ago, and I have never been this miserable. The fights and nagging, the endless scrolling on her phone, day and night with zero effort or energy for any adventure, the demands and constant arguments about little things, it's exhausting. I know that moving in together can be emotional and unstable, but I feel that I have no feelings for this woman. I have nothing to say to her. I don't even like her. I just keep thinking about my wife and how she knew all of this. I pretend that everything is great when I'm around people. I act like I am in love, but I am dying inside. She predicted everything. I miss and love her and think about her every single day. And because I am not a good person, I told my girlfriend all of this. I don't know why I felt the need to. Maybe it was because she called my ex old and bitter. I told her that I would never love her the way I love my ex. That brought her down to earth real quick. I am sick of myself. Selected Negotiation said, the grass is greener where you water it. I am dying to know how your ex-wife is doing. To this OP said, my ex-wife watered it. I did nothing. It was all her. Crinkle Cut Cheddar said, your ex isn't a psychic, you're just a cliche. Anyone who knew the details of your situation could have told you exactly what your future held. And you would have seen it too if you hadn't been so infatuated. The second story for today was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Devil Woman. The post is titled AITA for being pissed at my friend for taking my dead baby's name. In 2024, my husband and I were expecting our first baby. I was 5 months pregnant when I had a placental abruption, and my baby passed away after I had an emergency cesarean section. I was devastated and depressed. I am still grieving and have a hard time being around babies and attending baby showers. After being 2 months postpartum, my husband's cousin's girlfriend asked me if we could talk because she went through a miscarriage at 5 or 6 weeks and wanted someone to talk to about her grief. I was not in any shape or form to discuss the topic of pregnancy. I told her that I was not the right person to talk to because I was not in the best emotional state. She begged me because she needed mental help, so I consoled her. But in my head, I was angry because she was practically comparing how we both had similar experiences. She was well aware of the name we gave our daughter. We had chosen it as a combination of my husband's and my own names. It was perfect. She and I made Day of the Dead altars for our babies last year, bonded, and eventually grew closer. In January 20th, 25, she told me she was pregnant and could not wait. Mind you, I was still grieving, but I was happy for her. She found out she was having a baby girl. In August 20th, 25, she told me she was having medical complications and would have to deliver sooner than expected. Her sister-in-law and I planned a surprise brunch for her and also prepared to set up a baby corner and clean her house. I went over one day to take her fresh juice and a beautiful arrangement of flowers I had ordered for her. She went into labor 2 days after I saw her. I went to the hospital but did not go into the room because I was still grieving, though I wanted her to know I was there for her. 2 weeks later, my husband and I went to our friend's house to see the new baby. We brought homemade food, and I had ordered a bunch of things for her and her baby on Amazon that were going to arrive later since she could not have a baby shower. While we were sitting there talking, I asked her what she had named the baby. She said Isabella Guadalupe Socorro, the great-grandmother's names. She laughed, and her boyfriend did too, saying, "Yeah, that's her name." 3 weeks later, I was doing her mother-in-law's hair and mentioned how nice it was that they had named the baby Isabella Guadalupe Socorro. She laughed and said, "No, they did not name her that. They named her Amelia or Emilia. That is the name of my baby." I was furious. I went to her house the next day and asked her why she chose that name, and she said, "I forgot." "What? I have my baby's name tattooed on my arm and in my Instagram bio. We bonded last year." She said she did not know who told me the name and that she had only told 5 people. It was supposed to be a secret. You were not supposed to know. Oh, thank you for sparing my emotions, but how dare you? There is no way she could have forgotten, because if she had, she would not have tried so hard to keep it a secret from me. So am I the asshole for being angry at her for using the name? I believe I am justified in being upset. The cocktail of anger, betrayal, and sorrow here is entirely justified. This one is an emotional whirlwind that hits a raw nerve anyone who's experienced loss can relate to. Losing a baby in such a devastating way and then trying to navigate grief while being thrown into situations like consoling another who also suffered a miscarriage. The part that really stings is the name someone you had bonded with over shared grief has decided to use it for their baby. And then the casual "I forgot" like it's no big deal. Yeah, right. That's not forgetting. That's emotional dismissal on a whole new level. OP's not the asshole here. Sissy Jones said, "You need to exorcise this woman from your life like the soul-sucking demon she is." Dino Snuggler said, 9 times out of 10, I would have said, "You don't own a name, but you are the 1 out of 10. Your friend knows exactly what she did and she deserves your anger." This third and final story was also made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Chai the Panda. The post is titled AITA for not waking my BF multiple times every night. My 26F boyfriend, 40M, and I watch television nearly every night, and we usually both doze off on the couch at some point. Every night, I'm the one waking up on the couch and wanting to go upstairs to bed. Of course, I wake him up when I wake up and say something like, "Ready to go upstairs?" He is cranky and prone to falling back asleep every time I wake him up to tell him to come to bed. When this first started happening several months ago, I would wait downstairs and shake him a few times. Then I would go upstairs to brush my teeth and come back downstairs several times until he finally followed me up. I got tired of doing that since I was exhausted too. A few months ago, when he didn't wake up after the 2 times I tried to rouse him, I just stayed in bed instead of going back downstairs 3 or more times to force him to come to bed. He came upstairs about 30 minutes later, angry at me for leaving him alone in the dark. Mind you, this is his home. I tried to explain that it's really frustrating to have to get myself out of bed several times every night to try to wake him up. He also has trouble hearing, so I can't just yell from the bedroom. I have to physically walk all the way downstairs each time to try to wake him. I've suggested we watch television in bed to avoid this issue because to him, I should just inconvenience myself to make sure he doesn't wake up alone on the couch. He doesn't like to do that often because he likes to smoke and let his dogs out before bed, so he winds up on the couch anyway while he does that. Although I've been dealing with this issue for a while, last night was kind of a turning point for me. I woke up around 1 a.m. on the couch and shook him a bit until he opened his eyes. I told him twice that I was going to bed. I was super groggy and not in the mood to baby him, so this time I stayed in bed once I got comfortable. I was anxious about what would happen next. About 10 minutes later, he came upstairs angry, saying, "Remember when I told you I don't like being left on the couch?" He continued to berate me for him being asleep on the couch. I tried to explain myself again, and it got to the point where we were both heated, but he truly believes I'm in the wrong in this situation. I lost it. I started crying, told him I hated him, and slept on the couch. I sent him a Reddit thread about a similar situation, hoping he'd read it in the morning and understand why it's so frustrating from my perspective. He woke me up early this morning to take me home, and we didn't speak at all. When he dropped me off, he said he expects an apology from me and will wait to hear it. I apologized for saying I hated him, tried to explain myself again, and asked if he read the Reddit thread. He said no, he doesn't care what Reddit says. So now I'm lying on my couch, frustrated again, writing this. User Pirate Pixie commented, a 40-year-old man is acting like this. This is exactly why he went for a girlfriend in her mid-20s. Girl, run away. To this, LaDancer said, just want to jump on the top comment to say this. When OP wakes him up, he keeps going back to sleep multiple times and can't get up. But when she decides to stop waking him, he's upstairs within 10 minutes. It sounds like he's absolutely capable of getting himself up and off the couch. He just likes that OP stays up trying to wake him and doesn't want to go back to bed when he knows she will come get him.